guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm afraid I have a bad cold tonight, so I apologise in advance if I'm a bit throaty in the way I speak. I thought it would be a good idea in the light of those Dylan videos I did about the latest album, Rough and Rowdy Ways, to maybe go back to Dylan and think about my personal favourite Dylan songs. It's a bit indulgent, but it's been a long time, so maybe it's a good idea to sort of recollect things over a period of, I don't know, probably 40 years now, and see what I think. What are my personal favourite Dylan songs? I think they're different now probably to what they would have been 20 years ago or 40 years ago. Probably the first two or three are the same, but for sure the first one would be the same, but the others maybe changed a bit. It might be surprising how many of them come from bootlegs. And number 5, I'm doing my top 5, so don't have to make it too boring. 10, and if it's a top 10, really there is such a wealth to choose from that it's almost impossible to actually make a choice. You can say something, but the order is really interchangeable. I think with these top 5, they probably really are my top 5, at least at the moment. So number 5 is Caribbean Wind from the Shot of Love sessions. For many years, as far as I was concerned, Caribbean Wind was a track on Biograph, which is a very rich version of the song. I like it a lot more than most of the acoustic kind of tracks you find around now on YouTube. I searched for the Biograph version and I couldn't find it. Maybe it's somewhere, but I could only find the acoustic version, which, in my opinion, listening to it, I don't like it as much. It's kind of not as complex musically, and it has a kind of strange drum beat that comes in later on, which is rather distracting from the lyrics and doesn't seem to add anything musically. As so often happens, Dylan changes a lot of the words as well. There's nothing about the Rose of Sharon from Paradise Lost. That can be a good thing, of course. He's infinitely creative, keeps creating his artistic works over and over again. Things never get boring. But there's something to be said for coming to a best version and sticking with it. And most artists do that, don't they? They work at it and they find what they think is the best version and they stick with it. Dylan is extremely creative and we all love him for that. He's able to come up with different lyrics for his songs, different music even, and sometimes it's great. Sometimes the revised version will be better than the original, but I don't think so. Not in this case. Musically, for me, the Biograph version was better. Also lyrically, however, some interesting changes in the lyrics. In the one that's seems to be like an acoustic version, that's almost the only one you can bring up on YouTube. Yeah, I'll be looking at that in a short moment. I'll be bringing up a part of the song to listen to, but not for very long, because Dylan is one of those no-nos really on YouTube, and you can take it for granted that you'll get a copyright strike if you're playing Dylan regularly. You might get away with it once or twice, but for sure after a while you'll have a copyright strike. So I don't want to do that. I'll just be sharing a very short part of the song. My general impression of the song is that would have been the best song on Shot of Love. I was going to say I don't know why he left it off. Why did he leave the best song off the album? But perhaps I can guess. Shot of Love was the third of his triumvirate of religious albums, and perhaps this song, Caribbean Wind, was moving away from that wholly religious outlook, and he thought it would mess with the balance of the record. It was a Christian record, and he felt that this was too diffuse, too general, not religious enough. Maybe that was the reason. Maybe it was something else. Maybe he thought it was not a very good song. Who knows? Maybe he couldn't decide on a best final version of it. Maybe that was a problem. Maybe he kept changing the lyrics. He couldn't decide what he wanted. All these things are possibilities, and others too. But I still think that the Biograph version is the best. So maybe at this stage the best thing to do is just bring up a little bit of the song which I found on YouTube, and just listen to the first few lines probably. Okay, here we go. I hope it comes up without adverts. Right, let's see. Okay.
Boys and friends in the Pentagon, playing a show in Miami in the theater of divine comedy. Talked in the shadows where they talked in the rain. I could tell she was still feeling the pain. Pain of addiction, pain of infidelity. But she a shallow woman, can't say which. One to another she could easily switch. Couples were dancing and I lost track of the hours. He was well prepared, I knew he was, paying attention like a rattlesnake does when he's hearing footsteps traveling over his flowers. The Caribbean wind still blows from Nassau to Mexico, from the southern lights to the planets of desire, and them distant ships of liberty on them iron waves of gold and free. Bring everything that near me, nearer to the fire.
See what I mean? Doesn't seem to have a lot to me. Yeah, better cut it off there, or it will be risky. Maybe it's risky anyway. So yeah, the first part seemed okay, and some of the changes in the lyrics interesting, like about the rattlesnake, like a rattlesnake does. Sorry to lose the Rose of Sharon. She was the Rose of Sharon from Paradise Lost. Still have the theatre of divine comedy, and I think later on we still have that section about see the screws breaking loose, the devil was pounding on tin. We thought that was a great line. Isn't that tin supposed to be a some kind of metal that the devil is powerless against. Not sure about that, but in general, this is a sweeping, panoramic song, kind of like Idiot Wind or something. Seems to be about relationships most of the time. There are references to Jesus and um, the cross, but they seem to be incidental most of the time. It's about the Americas really, and sweeping movements of people and relationships between people, and the general turning into the specific, as happens so often with Dylan. And it seems to be in the mould of those traditional old Dylan songs, full of images, which it's difficult to piece a particular specific meaning out of, but sound very powerful anyway, and full of suggestive images that really make you think. But in general, yes, seems to be something sweeping, panoramic, talking about movement in people's lives, change, relationships, and the melody itself is great too. I love it, but I think it's better on Biograph than it is here. But it's still pretty good here, except for those drum beats. I just don't get that really. I don't see that they add anything. I'm sure that lots of people disagree with me, but that's my take on it. So for me, this is a great song by Dylan, and one that is going to be fairly representative of my top five, I think, because at least there is another one song which is also another outtake from another album, and the guy writes so many great songs that he could just afford to toss masterpieces aside and not bother including them on his albums, which is what he did with this. So number five, that's my number five in my current top five Dylan songs. Do you agree? Just leave your comments below. I'll be interested to read them. So make sure you come back for number four and hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoy taking this journey with me. So thanks a lot, and see you next time for number four.